when we were literally watching
I know.
draft day, first game.
Uh huh. Me freaking out about Drake May, and then we watched
Then
preseason games.
here we are.
Goes by so quick.
Let me mute. Wait.
Oh,
All right, we're good. And we are live. Oh, man. Okay. Let me get Miles in here. And we're good to go. Because I know DE will show up.
yeah.
And we're live. And we're good to
Jalen
go.
Brunson, All-Star starter. Come on.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that too. Oh, man.
All-Star shirt started.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. But
Yeah.
without further ado, hello, what is good, everybody? We are back with another episode of 4th and 0. Appreciate everybody tuning in. DE is right on time. He said, what if I don't show up and Miles just tortures you about the Jag-offs? Well, so I guess today we got off lucky because we're also going to talk about the Lakers.
Yeah.
So what if I don't show up? He was like, y'all need me.
Can't wait.
No, he provides a laugh, so
Yeah.
he is greatly appreciated. But appreciate you stopping by, bro, for another one. Honestly, we're going to keep today short because we don't really have too much to talk about. We're going to go in our Super Bowl predictions. We'll talk about the games. And we'll talk a little bit about what's been circulating around the NBA. And honestly, that would be that. But without further ado, let's get into the show. Thank you for everybody who's stopping by. My question of the day, just real quick, because we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Will the Heat trade Jimmy Butler by the trade deadline?
Yes.
So right now it's a 50-50 split. Currently, we have one yes and one no. I think they should go ahead and just move him already. But again, we talked about it. I think we talked about it either last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Assets, how much he wants to get paid.
Yeah.
Age.
There's moving parts, but like literally locker room cancer.
Right. And that is definitely a 3-team trade. And
yeah, there's money to be shuffled, and I don't know who's giving up. I mean, he's going to have a say in where he goes, but I don't know who's going to give up a lot for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is he, 35?
Yeah.
34, 35, one of those, yeah.
So, DE also said Ronnie the fit is better than last week, and he also said he is surprised I'm not wearing anything Eagles. So, I'm actually going to get some Eagles merch this week or this weekend.
Are you buying the conference championship shirt or no? Good.
Honestly, I want that that Cunningham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one that Devin has.
Yeah.
Because I remember I rocked it a few times. I was like,
it feels good. Yeah.
I need to
look in the mirror.
I need to get my own. So I'm definitely gonna cop some Eagles merch this weekend.
There was a working theory I had. So when the Patriots, how many Super Bowls did they lose? 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eagles, 2 Giants. So the 2 Giants games, the 07 and then 2012, I bought conference championship shirts for those, but none of the other ones. They lost both of those. And then the Eagles one, I didn't buy it on purpose because I'm like, I'm done with that. It's bad luck. They still lost. But I started getting paranoid. I'm like, I buy these conference championship shirts and then they lose.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I mean, it's like a consolation prize.
Right.
Like, you're the best in the conference, but you're not the best in the league.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I don't get them.
Yeah. If someone gave it to me, maybe, but yeah, I wouldn't buy it.
So DE said, let's be real though. The ring is coming and nobody wants it to happen, but I might bet on it. Might as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, you might as well just bet on it. Like, we already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword that I'm glad they made it to the finals. The Super Bowl. Yeah. But it's
like bittersweet because you kind of know it's probably inevitable.
Yeah. The script is going to beat my ass. But honestly, man, yeah, again, we don't have much to talk about. So let's get into basketball real quick. So we have the trade deadline coming up, and next month we have the All-Star game.
Yes.
I know we briefly mentioned the selections for the All-Star game, and actually...
pull up the roster.
1 second. Let me also pull up the stream on my phone so I can read the chat. Okay, cool. And let's see. So we have the reserves selected already. Okay. They listed the events. Let me get to... I mean, what will it take for us to just go back to East versus West? I mean, at this
I don't
point,
know. I think the problem is, I think like the formats, especially because we can talk about the Pro Bowl too, which I wouldn't mind getting into here in a second. But yeah, just the idea of these formats, like I
right.
think there's so much complacency, and they're just like comfortable, and they're like they're gonna watch it anyway, or like we don't care. It's a little weird. So I don't know if they're gonna go back to East versus West, but it would be nice.
Right. So right now for the Eastern Conference, the starters right now they are Giannis, Donovan Mitchell, Cat, Karl Anthony Towns made it.
The Knicks are the only team that have two starters.
Because then you got Brunson and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Are the wow? I didn't realize Cat made it.
What is he at? 24. I mean, he's averaging a double double. He has had a good year from what I've seen.
So DE, you said F East versus West. That issue was boring. Have you looked at the teams? I mean, compared to now, it was more entertaining. East versus West.
I remember East versus West, and it would be like 150 to 140. I mean, like it was. They played hard. I mean, this seems gimmicky. Their whole like way they have it set up now, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess everyone has their opinion on it, but.
And then the Western Conference, Steph, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, KD, and guess who? LeBron.
There he is. Averaging 23,
24.
9, and... Oh, yeah. 24, 9, and 8. Yeah. And there's Jokic averaging a triple-double. He's like one MVP and like one more final away from like uncomfortable conversations that are starting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Sit down and listen.
100%. DE also said you're a Celtics fan. Your opinion is valid. Oh man,
I've been pulling my collar a couple times this year with them.
Yeah,
especially right now. They're
no, you keep it. Oh,
it's a different team.
Yeah, we're not.
It's a different team.
That blowout against. I mean, y'all let them come back.
Yeah.
That
I got the update at halftime. I'm like, cool. And then next thing I know, hour and a half later,
y'all let freaky Ime Udoka come back
of all people. And this Rockets team is a
Dylan Brooks was talking cash. Dylan Brooks of all players. Word. That is crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Pookie
know.
Bear, my glorious king. Yeah, so my thoughts on the roster. Honestly, it's just gonna be this All-Star game is. I mean, I'll have the game up, but will I really be tuned in? Not really.
I want to see. I think there's a dunk contest laid out. I know Mac McClung's coming back.
And speaking of him,
yeah,
how is he overseas? And Bronny is.
yeah.
You know, at some point
we have to have conversations.
Yo, what's good, Miles? You know, I mean, let's keep it a bug. At some point, we really got to address it. How is Matt McClung, who I feel is not, he's not, well, obviously he's leagues, but he's more of a pro than Bronny, who's been getting shipped back and forth between leagues.
Mac McClung at the very least has like athletic ability. I'm not saying Bronny's not an athlete, but like, I think in the couple of times, I mean, he at least averages like maybe 6 or 7 points a year. I mean, like that's better than LeBron or Bronny averaging what 0.3, 0.4 right now. Yeah, these are conversations. There's a lot of them, but
I truly I don't understand it.
No,
but honestly, yeah. So my thought: do you have the reserves? Because I know they were going crazy about the reserves.
Reserves.
Because here we go. I think.
Oh, have they not been picked yet?
I thought they have. Maybe not.
No. TNT to reveal 2025 NBA All-Star Game reserves during pregame show on Thursday, so tomorrow.
Okay, got you. Okay, so we have the starters, so we'll talk about the reserves next week.
Yeah.
Okay. So Miles, since you are here and we're talking about basketball, let's talk about your Lakers. So the only thing that I saw yesterday about the Sixers and the Lakers game that Bronny is clearly not ready and they should stop experimenting with him. And I also think JJ Redick is biting off more than he could chew.
I agree with that. I don't think he's a bad coach, but I think there's just a lot of just not dysfunction. I don't know what the word is, but
so for what he was talking about bringing in versus what we're seeing, I think is two different things right now.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Screw the Lakers. I hope they lose out." In a realistic conversation, I think they have to just leave Bronny where he's at in the G League.
I would just the whole year, just dump him, leave him. Just what's it gonna hurt?
Their pride.
Yeah, it really it's as simple as leave him there the whole year, reevaluate in summer ball, and then reevaluate again before the season starts. Right. And then if you still don't like, I mean, you could stash him in the G League for 2 years. I mean, maybe he'll be out of the league in 3 or 4 years, but like, yeah, what? He's not producing. He's not helping the team. He's taking up a spot. So send him and leave him.
Literally.
Yeah,
Did you see his highlights
in the G League?
No.
Oh,
yesterday.
The air ball.
And so he I believe he stole the ball, and then once I forgot who was in the lane, but I saw how he froze up. He was more timid when there was pressure coming his way.
I didn't see that.
So basically, it was like a fast break. To me, he could have ran faster to push the defense to force them to close out, so he can at least kick it or draw a foul. So he basically got to the 3-point line, slowed up, met a wall, didn't try to maneuver anything, chucked up a bad shot, and then the other one got sent. That joint got sent. Like he was nowhere near the rim. Oh, he just floated the ball. That joint immediately got sent.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. Miles said Bronny was never ready. JJ is the podcast coach. JJ should have been a G League coach, then moved up.
I mean, him just jumping right into the head coach of like one of the most notable organizations in the league. That's a little, it was a little ambitious, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's like I was reading comments up under his stats, and of course you're gonna have all the people say give him time. Defending it basically and saying like, hey, y'all just mad and haters. Like, I didn't see like a single real comment addressing the issue.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's like, oh, well, it's LeBron's son. Y'all should give him a chance. And it's all the filibuster stuff that we were talking about when he first got drafted.
Yes. Yeah. Same thing.
So no one's really addressing the issue, but to be completely honest, they have to stop experimenting.
They do. It's just like treading water. It really is. It's just, there's no point. And like sometimes, whether you want to admit it or not, the like greatest of all time, or even with Michael Jordan's son, they just don't work. It's not like a guarantee that the talent's going to transfer.
Exactly.
It happens sometimes, like Ken Griffey and then his son. That worked. But it doesn't happen every time. It's okay if he's not good.
I mean, no disrespect, but Scottie Pippen's son.
Scottie Pippen Jr. I mean, Gary Payton's son, he's been like an okay defender. He's been able to stick around, but he's not as good as his dad.
It helped that he won early.
It did, yeah, that's true. He got the ring out of the way. I mean, and he's going to have longevity. He might play another 4 or 5 years. He's an okay roster spot to take him, but like, they don't always work. And the thing with Bronny too is like, it's not, basketball is a little different than like football or any other sport. Like, you don't need to give them as much time. I feel like a lot of dudes just come in right from college and they're good. You kind of know right away. So, I mean, what do they want to give them, 2-3 years?
They stand out in college. Yeah. Like Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, and, like, and football, you plug and play. Jaden Daniels just went to the NFC Championship game. He was a rookie. Like, yes, okay, you can give Bronny another year in the G League, and maybe he gets it. But, like, if they don't have it, they don't have it.
Right.
So,
but I think that's also, like, the detriment of how they're treating college now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, are they fully developed? Or are they developing in college like they used to like 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
So now everyone's one and doneing college, not even ready.
And just jumping right into it. Right. And then maybe another year in college would have done them well. I mean, with Bronny, he obviously should have stayed. I think everyone said that, but he didn't, and here we are, so.
But because of the health scare and everything else.
It was just, I think the timing was weird. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of... It's ridiculous, but we're gonna keep talking about it until one day it's just gonna be over.
Yeah,
but
hopefully. Yeah. Well, not on here. We'll talk about it sparingly.
Yes, yeah.
God, I mean, there's enough channels to talk about Bronny and LeBron.
If that's your thing, then tap in somewhere else. But
right.
Yeah,
definitely.
And then I don't know if you want to touch on the De'Aaron Fox news that came out today.
So what happened?
The thing about trading him.
Oh yeah. So I remember they were talking about that before. but it was just like there's nothing like that came from it. It was just like simmering news.
Yeah.
So it's just like a
This
definite...
one's like official report. I think Shams came out with it, and then he said that his top destination he prefers would be San Antonio. I mean, from the Kings' perspective, something I'm missing. Why were we looking to trade him?
Mm-hmm.
Was there something that he hasn't fallen off to my knowledge? I don't know why. I mean, I feel like that team's needed a superstar for a while, and they kind of had a good core, but
I think they just missed their mark entirely because they've had like multiple windows of like they'll make the playoffs, but then they lose in the first round.
Yeah.
And but I mean, granted, the times that they've been in the first round, they were literally going against juggernauts. And
they were, and then what was it? Who took him to Game 7? Was it
the Steph?
And Malik Monk was out, and then De'Aaron Fox was hurt, and he was trying to play through it. So I mean, that was
Sabonis as well.
Sabonis, yeah, that was an anomaly. I mean, that was a good year for them to maybe get to even the conference finals, but injuries caught him. Him on the Spurs, I think, looks nice.
Well, my thing is they're just not going nowhere. Pop is still dealing with health issues. I'm not sure what the future of that team. Yeah, Wembanyama, but
yeah, obviously you're going to build around him.
Right.
Besides that, you don't have really any cornerstone pieces.
Right.
Best case, you bring in De'Aaron Fox, and then Paul sits behind him and mentors him, which he doesn't really need it. But
right.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
because I'm seeing right now, like, because they said something about him going to the Lakers, but I hope not.
Who, De'Aaron Fox? Yeah, I no. That's just another.
They'll just like I don't know if anybody's realized, but like point guards really don't go there to have a prosperous career.
No,
even with LeBron James being there,
they've tried that many times. And what was it? Westbrook, D'Lo. I mean, there were good complimentary ones like Derek Fisher. Obviously, had a decent career, but he had Kobe there and everything, and that team was a little more structured than this one. The Chris Paul trade that got blocked 15 years ago, that never ended up happening. But yeah, it's not really where point guards go to like elevate their game. So I don't know, but we'll see if it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In other news, as the question of the day, Heat suspended Jimmy Butler for an indefinite period. He walked out of practice. Wasn't pleased that he found out that he wasn't going to be starting, so he just said, "F it."
Grown ass man, like above grown ass man, like 15 years, 12, 13 years in the league, knows better, but loves Miami apparently, and now he doesn't.
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like there was a lot of stuff brewing in the background prior to this being a thing. So, truth be told, I think they just need to part ways. Like, I get it, Pat Riley trying to establish dominance. It's like, hey, you fall in line and stuff like that. But if you're going to continue to keep just suspending him without pay, I mean, at that point, don't even...
Yeah, what? I mean...
Like, just get him off the team at that point.
Him and Pat Riley, you already know that, too. They had their grievance, and I think that's what started that. I think it was... What was it more so that they just didn't bring in new pieces around him?
That, too.
Yeah, to get them elevated.
That, and then I think it started, like, last season when he was like, oh, if we didn't get injured, y'all would have been out of the playoffs already. And then Pat was like, well, you can't really be talking. And
it was the press conference, too. We kind of threw him under the bus. Yeah. At this point, cut your losses. And with him, like we just talked about at the beginning when you asked the question, I don't know what you would even give up for him. And are you going to give up like future pieces that like are going to benefit you later for a 35-year-old diva?
I mean, but at that point, they're not really doing anything. They're just probably going to draft somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to be irrelevant.
Which, yeah, I mean, and credit to them. I mean, LeBron left. That whole big three broke up. They had a couple years where they kind of meddled around, and then they got back to the finals twice. Like, they did it correctly, but you got to cut your losses. This team's not getting out of the East this year. Not even close, so...
Miles said, Hemi Butler's the truth. He don't care no more. He rich. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm like I saw reports of like, oh, he's losing this much money for this long. I'm like, bro's been making finals money 5 years ago.
Endorsements. He's on commercials.
Right. I'm like, he has his own brand of coffee. I'm like, this man ain't even worried about money.
No.
So that's why I was mad confused when I'm listening to people talk about he's getting hit in his wallet. I'm like, no, he's not.
No. I mean, he's not worried about. To him, I think Miami Heat's the small time right now. That's the last of his.
Right.
Does he even want to play basketball anymore?
I'm pretty sure he still does. I mean, if from our generation, a lot of these guys, like, yeah, they're reaching like past mid-30, but they still have a lot to offer.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Steph. I mean, what is he about to hit? 37, 38? Mm-hmm. He's still, he can still go.
I don't know if you saw, but Kawhi look different. He moving different.
He is.
Like
I saw, yeah.
Like he handling the ball better. He don't look as like stiff as he used to.
I don't know if he got like stem cell or what he got going on.
Bro,
some of them come back with the stem cell and they're like 25 again. But
bro hit the behind the back snatch, sham god snatch into a reverse leg. I'm like, yo,
who
the fuck
Spurs?
Like who the freak is like this dude? Yeah, he was moving mad different. But we'll see how that play out. I genuinely just wish that they would just part ways already, because I'm genuinely getting tired of seeing like just the reports of it. I'm like, at this point, like I would have already came up with a package. Already.
Just start talking. I mean, I don't know. Do you have to throw Tyler Hero in there? He's been in trade talk since he was a baby.
Right.
I mean, it's like throw someone else in there with him. Keep Bam. I know they like Bam. They gave him the extension, and then just kind of work from there. But this team is not anything to scoff at. This team
about to be worse than what it is now. That's tough. And lastly, street clothes, as Charles calls them, Anthony Davis is out
at least a week
with an ab strain after he came out and said that we need a big. This man Miles is teeing off in the group chat, man. This man is done, upset. I don't even know what other word I can use on air to describe this man's frustration.
Not happy, yeah.
But this man is sick of it.
I don't even know where he goes all the time, because like the resume is nice, and like the game is, you can like the naked eye test. He's always been that dude, but like it's just never been consistent.
Right.
It's just injury after injury.
Man, I don't know if you remember this. This was probably like close to over a decade ago. This was like New Orleans AD. I think that man put up 50, 60 points in a game and he lost.
I don't remember that?
No. I gotta look at that game, bro.
Was this Pelican? Was he played on the Pelicans for what, a year or two?
Yeah. No. He was drafted there.
Well, no. I'm saying because they were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. He carried over to the Pelicans name, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was trying to remember what when he got traded. He got traded what, 2016, 2017?
I think it was 17.
He's been on the Lakers for a minute now. But yeah, I don't know with him. I mean, he'll be looked at as like, a great big, but like the injuries, he just has this aura about him where you're just like, oh, here he goes again.
Honestly, I want to say, like, if we want to talk about his injury history, we'll have to go back to the Pels.
Oh yeah, that's when it started.
He was soloing those 82 games by himself.
They asked a lot out of
their whole entire machine. So I understand now on the back end of his career, if he can barely stay on the
court. I mean, I remember the shoulder used to bother him all the time. He'd have it taped up with like
that brother's
rolls
like,
and rolls.
That man would like his knees was not holding up. But I get it, because he was literally putting up 30 per game in New Orleans. So I understand.
They were trotting him out to the whole
with no help. They like, I think towards the later part of him being there, they finally got him like Drew Holiday.
Yeah, and then I think DeMarcus was there, but then DeMarcus got hurt. Was that when he tore his ACL? Yeah.
Yep.
And that didn't work. I mean, they tried like once or twice, and they were like, all right.
And they were forced at that time. They were forced with DeMarcus.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was crazy, because I like the 1-2 combination. Then you had Drew, then he goes down. Then I think they were playing the Blazers at the time in that series, and then I forget who they ran into that next one. But man, was he missed. It was his.
It changed the whole team. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked, man. It's like it just sucks seeing like young. Not even young talent, but you finally get some pieces around.
I'd almost say it was like a better. I don't know if it's controversial, but like a better Gobert and Cat combo. It was just more dynamic.
Yeah, and they both could score, but they weren't both like ball hogs.
Exactly.
So like neither one of them needed the ball like that. But I mean, at
any point it was dangerous.
It definitely worked.
Oh yeah,
it worked for what it was. So speaking of Isaiah Thomas, he is actually back in the G League. That man put up 40.
The NBA Sentinel account posted, and I thought it was real for like half a second. It was like NBA filing a restraining order against Isaiah Thomas. Get him away.
My gosh, that's
and foul. I'll always love him just because of the Celtics thing, and like he's always come off as really genuine, but like He's still trying.
Oh yeah,
He's
I mean,
persistent if anything.
so and honestly, that's a good thing because we'll talk about this and then we'll go to basketball or football. So, did he sort of get stifled a little bit on his way out? Because so y'all didn't pay him.
No, we screwed him over. Danny Ainge screwed him over big time.
Then he went to Cleveland,
and he got hurt.
Then they moved him.
Yeah, they moved him. Was he went right to Los Angeles for there?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing didn't work out because Braun ended up going there as well.
And then that was just dead in the water.
That was it. And then I want to say, did he try going back to Phoenix, or am I thinking of somebody?
He went
else?
Back to Phoenix last year.
Okay,
they signed him to a 10-day,
and then
I think he did like okay. I mean, I guess enough to get back in the G League.
Well, to me, he did well because it wasn't like he was putting up. I think he put up. I want to say at least one game he put up 20 points.
Yeah, I believe that.
So, but to me, he did well enough to at least earn the contract for the rest of the season. Yeah, but then they let him go.
And then now, the betting favorite, this was real, was the Shanghai Sharks to sign him.
That's foul. That's foul as hell. That is foul as hell.
But I mean, no, he's just, I don't know. He's had such a weird career path because it was like Sacramento and then Phoenix, and he went somewhere else. He had a couple of teams before Boston, but Boston's kind of where he put himself on the map. He was putting up he was really like the main option there. And that playoff game against Washington, where it was after his sister died, and he put up like 35 or 40, and he put himself, and that probably elongated his career a couple extra years. But I don't know. I don't know if I feel bad for him. I think he just wants to play basketball.
It's crazy too because at the time he felt like he wanted what he deserved as far as pay.
Yeah.
And then that's honestly just him coming out and saying he wanted the Brinks truck.
Yeah.
And I think that just
Danny Ainge just scoffed at that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he was right or wrong. I just think they kind of were
but that made every other organization look at him the same.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the whole
Boston won't pay him after he did all that for them.
Right. So it's
what's wrong with him?
Right. Yeah. And it's sort of how they did he was just in my head. Not Westbrook, Carmelo. They sort of so when that tale came out about him how he didn't want to play defense, he got blackballed by every organization.
No one would touch him because he still had ball left after. Yep. And they just were I don't know. Yeah, it's
crazy. But honestly, without further ado, if y'all are still keeping it with us, we appreciate it. We are actually going to switch over to football. We are going to talk about Super Bowl. We'll talk about the AFC NFC championship game. Buffalo. If I'm y'all, I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. And shout out Mahomes because he still makes himself look like an asshole, and he don't even mean to intentionally.
And then his dad gets on there yapping, "It's a great day to not be from Buffalo." And then I saw about 500 pictures of his mugshot. It's a great day to not be you because they were going in on him.
I don't think he's allowed in any New York location ever again.
No, can't say. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that.
I also saw it was an Instagram. I think it was from NFL memes. It said, "Don't worry, Buffalo will be back." It said they won't win, but they'll be back.
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh God." Yeah, they were not treating them nicely.
Nah, I just saw the one where he apologized to Josh Allen saying, "I'm sorry, it has to always be us." And I'm just like, can you just shut the hell up?
Then there's the stark contrast from earlier in the year when he started complaining about bullshit. Yeah. And then Josh Allen shakes his hand and it's just cordial.
So hold on. So I think that one was from last season.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
the seasons were blended together. You're right though.
Because when they played earlier, they dapped up. It was straight.
Yeah, it was last year.
It was last year when they was oh yeah, there's a bullshit.
Halfway into the dap, he starts yelling over his shoulder.
He was yapping prior to dapping him up. Because I remember that, and I was like,
he was going, and then Josh was like, "Oh hey man, we're two of the best quarterbacks in the league," and then Mahomes is like, "Nah, bro, I got bigger things to worry about. I got to complain."
Right. Bro had a yap about something he really about to get back next game. So we are finally here. I know last week we left off. We said that we were going to have Super Bowl picks for y'all. I believe our picks were right.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl America wanted versus the Super Bowl the NFL got were two different outcomes, but ultimately everyone went with the color theory, and we got the Chiefs and the Eagles. I know a lot of people are probably going to turn this game off.
Yeah.
Totally fine. I'm not even mad. It's going to be a pain to see my team get hoed only because the NFL script writers.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of Giants fans and a lot of Giants players. They are. I don't even know. Like, you can't even be a Giant. I don't even know why you're still a Giants fan at that point.
What year is it?
I mean, come on now. Like, I don't know how you could be a fan after seeing your running back literally go to the Super Bowl in one season and
historical season and put the team on his back.
You know, and it took you 6 seasons and you got to the playoffs twice?
Yeah.
And bounced first round every time.
That run, the initial run by Saquon, the first touchdown.
Yeah.
And Devin's like, we're like looking at each other like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like broke like 3 tackles and just.
I saw that too because like the 17 play drive, I was like, yo, they keep going for it on fourth. I'm like, can we get a stop?
Yeah.
Finally got a stop.
They went for it like on fourth 3 times, and then I remember I looked down, I looked back up, I'm like, is the game like glitching?
No, for real.
And was like, no, he's like, no, they're going for it again.
No, literally.
Like, okay.
I'm sitting here, I'm just like, I know that front four is gassed.
Dude, they were. Oh
I know they were gassed. I was like, honestly, I think after the second, fourth down they went on, I was just like, whatever. They're just gonna
get it, yeah.
At this point, because y'all pissing me off. We can't get no stops. Y'all keep going for it on fourth. So I was like, all right, we finally got a stop, and they kicked it.
And that was the right call to me. I mean, I would, if I'm Dan Quinn, I wanted to set the tempo. I'm away. You know, this is a hard game to go through. It's the NFC Championship. Just run it down their throat. But yeah.
Yeah, I was also thinking, so I was like, I see how you got up 28 points.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, I'm about to show you why you gave up that lead. So.
It is crazy because we talked about it. If the Eagles came out slow, Washington wasn't going to let their foot off the gas. Philadelphia did not come out slow, and they did not let their foot off the gas, and that was really the big. Yeah,
it was the Rocky statue.
Yeah, it was.
They messed with the Rocky.
You think that you guys are tampering with it first, just because of the bad luck it brings to the other team? Or do you think they're just that stupid like the other fan base? I think they're just
that dumb.
Someone brought that up. They're like, is something like an Eagles fan putting this stuff on there to bulletin board it? Or I don't know.
Honestly, that's a good question, but I don't think. I mean, these are the same people who climb the poles and grease them up and flip a car over and
also
threaten several players and
While you bring that up, though, on a somber note, RIP to the kid that died.
I saw that. I saw that this morning. That is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not 18 years old. He was like a sports science medicine major or something. I was like, damn. So RIP to him. I mean, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, Miles said RIP for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, our condolences, man. Really didn't put that on your bingo card today that actions were going to transpire that way.
Yeah, but, he was probably happy as shit. And
it's just all innocence, too. He just wanted to cheer and, celebrate the win.
Yeah, and they were just, I mean, everyone else was doing it, just unfortunate. Just ended up, falling. But
happened
RIP to him
at that point. Yeah. This is very unfortunate. But hopefully that means that we won't be taking drastic measures to celebrate like that.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, I mean, and your fan base, it's a lot. It's rowdy. I mean, I'll give you guys that. And people, the problem too is I've seen people bring it up and they're like, well, we don't like Kansas City, but also the Eagles fan base makes me not like the Eagles. So there's that's why I think people are pissed at the Super Bowl. They're like, we don't want the Eagles fan base to celebrate, but we also don't want Kansas City to get another one. So I don't know. I mean, you guys were treating Washington like the fans walking around. I'm like, damn. And some of them are probably talking shit. So I get it too, but
generally, I understand. This is what happens when a team is one of the more winningest teams in terms of playoffs, conference championships, just wins overall within that division.
Yeah.
And you don't get anything from it.
Yeah.
I totally understand. So, the one that we got in 2017, we needed that.
Yes.
But then look at the team since then. Then you go back 2 years ago, and then you go back now. We finally hit our stride with consistency. And it's like I get it. As a fan, you become entitled because it's like,
oh no,
it's like, oh yeah, my team is finally doing good. I can talk shit. We're looking good. This is the best we've ever been. But it's just like they don't really understand humility.
Yeah,
because I've always said that you can lose something as quick as you obtain it, and I don't think a lot of people don't apply that to certain aspects in their life. As you can see, the whole thing with Jaylen Brown or AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
because at one point I'm like, damn, we can literally lose, bro.
Yeah,
Devontae's not going
I kept telling
nowhere.
Devin, I'm like, before the game, I'm like, they lose this game, I'm like, there is at least 15-20% chance he's gone. They're going to trade him, and I'm not trying to be a bandwagon, but like the Patriots would make sense with Vrabel there.
So,
a first round pick, I think they wouldn't have a problem giving that up next year or the year after.
So, I think at one point there was a report, I forgot how long ago, he scrubbed his account of Eagles stuff.
Yeah.
While he was,
I think we talked about that.
It may have been last.
Bio was gone. I think he had a Eagles profile picture with his jersey on, switched to something else. Yeah. I think he's definitely had some turmoil there, which is crazy, though, because you guys have continued to win. Playoffs every year, second Super Bowl in, 3 years?
Yeah, so, but then you know how winning covers everything.
Yeah.
So,
That's another thing. I was like, if they lost the conference championship game, I think there would have been some conversations to be had to where, like, he might have been like, just get me out.
Like, and I know I've been harping on this for 2 years now, but look at the whole thing with DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
When they asked him, hey, would you like to return? Well, he broke 1,000 yards. Why wouldn't he return? Yeah. He had a successful season, but then you look at his utility. You didn't look at the games where he didn't get the ball much.
Yeah.
And then at the times when he should have got the ball, he didn't.
And you were screaming from the mountaintops last year about, like, what's going on with him. This dude is obviously good, yeah.
So it's like, it's definitely within the team, and it has a lot to do with, like, their key people there. So, but yeah, I understand. The fan base in general, they've really shot like all Eagles fans in the foot. I'll definitely rep for my team, but I'll definitely take onus and say, like, yeah, we're like, as far as fan base, we're over the top. So now I'm fighting battles. Yeah. Because people are talking bad about my team, but then I also got to be like, you know what? Yeah, that's, it's true what they're saying because look at how they've been acting.
Yeah. I'm all for trash talk. I'm all for, like, my team's better than yours. But, like, some of it borderlines on, like, if I'm walking down the street and I'm by myself and there's, like, 50 Eagles fans, I'm like, damn, I don't think a jump.
Oh, yeah, you getting hands put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you getting hands put on.
Some dude grabbed, there was a guy that had, like, a Jaden Daniels jersey on by himself walking down the street, grabbed his beanie off his head and took off the other way. And they were, like, throwing shit at the guy's feet. I'm like, bro, what the hell?
Believe it or not, the Jags games that I've went to, like, they'll be talking trash.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
even it's the Jags.
And I'm just sitting here, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, you're the most poverty team. Yeah. And I'm sitting here, I'm ready to tee off because he don't realize, like, his team is trash, but he's talking cash. I'm like, yo, y'all, it's I understand. I haven't been in that situation, but I've been in situations similar to where it's like, okay, like, teams who shouldn't really be talking.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
So I understand. But going back to the Philly-Washington game, yeah, we just beat the brakes off them.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Cleaning right through.
Shout out Peanut Tillman for, putting the best move, defensive move on the map. Every Philly defender damn near caused a fumble.
Yeah.
I know Austin Eckler was punching the air right now because he left one team where he was fumbling the ball a lot to another team, and brother couldn't hang on to the ball.
Which all year, from what I remember and what I've seen, he didn't really have a fumble issue.
Correct.
He kind of corrected all of his issues. He's never been explosive. We talked about that too with the Chargers. You can just see he kind of runs like an old man, like his feet have concrete in them. But he's biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know Jaden Daniels, his jersey right now is like #1 across all sports. So I know he definitely my question is he gonna suffer a sophomore slump?
Just thinking that as we were talking about.
Yeah. Because I was literally thinking that because CJ Stroud had the same thing.
Yeah.
Got as far as he did, had a slump this year. So now I'm like, is he about to suffer the sophomore slump?
this team is going to come back down to earth a little bit because I don't think they're going to be as good as they were this year.
I agree,
but
I think both teams do maybe.
I can see that.
Yeah, both Philly and Washington.
Yeah, I just don't think Washington. I mean, I think they're going to like at least be second in the division. They're better than Dallas and New York. But
speaking of Dallas,
we'll get into
yeah, we'll talk about Dallas's moves after we talk about Buffalo and Kansas City, because Dallas right now, I know
there were grown men burning jerseys.
Oh man, Dallas, being an Eagles fan and watching Dallas right now, I'm like, it's funny because it's like at one point I was on the other side of them signing a stupid coach that had no business being signed, Chip Kelly. So
now look at it. Yeah,
I think we had Matt Patricia on our team at one point.
You guys did. He was an advisor. Was it? It was the Super Bowl year, or was it last year?
Last year. Oh, yeah, it was last year.
Crazy hire.
I try to black those
the guy that let his defense get put up 41 points in the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's how because Slay
from Detroit.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, because Slay wasn't even cool with it. No. They were already butting heads. Like on site, they was butting heads.
Yeah.
That was the only time I was kicking it with Slay. But switching gears now to the Kansas City Buffalo game. So let me ask you this: How does one official say that the ball is placed?
The line judge, mind you, the person in charge.
Both line judges can't make up their decision.
First line judge immediately without hesitation, first down. And then the other line judge is like, first down, huh? And he's like, oh, no, it's not. Sorry. We don't even have to talk about the Dalton Kincaid miss, which is okay, but the flag that comes out, and then the flag gets picked up because Dalton Kincaid dropped it.
And there was no flag.
There was, They
was like, oh, my fault. I didn't.
Oh, he didn't catch it. Oh, there is no flag. Yeah, I don't know. There was a flag for trying to beat Patrick Mahomes.
That right there, those two is what we blatantly say. Like I sent y'all GGs in the chat when they scored.
Yeah,
I was like, I already knew how this was gonna go.
The Dalton Kincaid one, the flag, whatever. That's weird, but like, the Josh Allen, it looked like a first down.
That was a first down. That was a first.
Yeah, maybe I'm lying, but
let's keep it a buck. That was a first.
That was a first down. Yeah.
I mean, and this is what I talk about to other people when I say like I don't. This is why I hate that Philly's going against that, because it is clear as day that in close moments they will give the edge to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's like plain day favoritism. It's not. They're not even hiding it at this point.
You would want to, like, I know if I was like the Patriots in the Super Bowl, it would be nice to play a team where you can kind of like shake hands afterwards. With the Eagles, honestly, I mean, that was a good game. I was like, I have no hard feelings about it. But like knowing it's the Chiefs, you can't have a GG's good game.
Nope.
No, because you just know, and like the way they got to the Super Bowl, and maybe there's not one call the whole game that's like questionable, which is not going to happen.
But it's always the fourth quarter, like how. I mean, I get it. Bradbury held him. He even admitted it, but it's just stuff like that.
That was a bang. I mean,
it was a bang bang.
That was a bang bang play. And usually in big games, bang bang plays, the hands get thrown up.
Yeah,
it's like, I saw it, but it wasn't enough for me. Unless it's like a come here, let me yank you down. Yeah. No, that was not.
Yeah.
And something like that's probably going to happen again. And
it will.
You guys are going to crash out, and I would understand it.
Honestly, we'll probably, I don't know how Devin's reaction, since he's not here, but it won't be as depressing as the Super Bowl party we had.
Yeah.
Everybody awkwardly laughed. It was, all right,
we got to go.
Thanks for, and like, no one said a word.
Because there was something in the air with that, and maybe it was because, like, the Chiefs hadn't hit their peak like Darth Vader arc on that, because like they were still hated, but it wasn't as bad. But like now the next like 2 years since, it's been pretty clear that there's something in the air.
Right. Agreed.
I really, really, honest to God, I hope it's like 45-38 and there's no flags and it's just like clean football, but can't have that.
Nope.
Can't have that. No.
Nope. The only thing I would say is how we'll just react to Spagnuolo's defense, because seeing how they played that game in the last series where they just went out on a
threw
blitz.
everything at Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And that was the pass to Kincaid. And Kincaid, he's getting some flack, not as much as Mark Andrews. Kincaid, they kind of broke it down. He had to, the ball, obviously Josh Allen just had to get the ball out.
He had to stop.
He had to stop and kind of reroute his body and turn, so it was a little more.
He already committed to his momentum was already carrying him forward. So, I mean, worst case scenario, maybe he could have just placed his arms out.
Or not, like you said, his momentum was carrying him, and he was already prepared for the catch as the ball was like halfway to him. So if he could have it was like a half-second momentum shift. I mean, if he would have planted his feet, he probably would have caught it, but...
Yeah, but I also think, too, like, with that scenario, there's too many variables, because if he didn't position himself a different way, maybe the ball could have been intercepted.
That's true, too. So, I mean, really, that's what I said with him. Like, he's not getting as much flack as Andrews.
Yeah.
You could just see the body was like contorted in like an odd spot.
I mean, he really just had to throw that ball up there.
Yeah.
So it's not. I wasn't really going to expect that to be like a perfect play. It was essentially just a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was
at that point.
And Josh Allen made the right call. Dalton Kincaid just happened to not catch it. That's all it was.
Right.
And credit to Spagnuolo's defense, because he sent everyone at him. And that was sketchy.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen's a big dude. That's a Pro Bowl quarterback, but still. When you got like 8 people coming at you, the whole line, and you got the backs coming at you, absolutely.
Because you can see him like loading up too, because he went through the stages of I'm like, all right, let me get the ball out, and then I'm pretty sure he was like, all right, I know where my guy's gonna be. Let me just throw it in his vicinity.
Yeah, hopefully he catches it, because instead of taking a sack, you might as well throw it up and hopefully it hits.
Yeah, that was really just one of those just Hail Marys.
Yeah.
So that's really my main takeaway. It was very close. Definitely, it was just close all around the board. As much as I hate this team, Andy Reid is,
he's inevitable.
Respect for Andy.
Yeah, it really has nothing to do with Andy.
Yeah. Respect for Andy.
Unless everybody else, something in 10 years where it's like Andy Reid paid the referees, then we'll talk about it.
100%.
I don't think it has anything to do with
a 30 for 30 moment, but other than that, that's really about it. But as far as our Super Bowl, hold on, because is that? So that is a week and 4 days.
Yeah.
So we definitely got some time. Hopefully everybody is rest up, and hopefully Jalen's knee is not bothering him by that time. Wow, we're here at the end of football.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Genuinely, though, you do think the Chiefs are going
to win? They're gonna get.
I think it's just
they're gonna get bailed out. So it's like, do you want to see a team with just a new team that came back win for the first time with a new squad, or do you want to see a three-peat?
And obviously, I mean, the three-peat, no. It's just, they're already talking about Mahomes as the GOAT. I know if he gets a three-peat, it's going to be like, well, Brady never did that.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear that. I'd rather have you guys win it and take it for what it's worth. Jaden deserves a ring.
Because
Jalen, yeah, I mean.
Because honestly, let's give it a buck. The only thing that we're going to get out of this, we're going to dog the Cowboys.
Yeah, 100%.
We're going to say, hey, this is what we did. We took because I told y'all, we took your offensive coach to a Super Bowl before you guys did.
They fired him. And this dude's about,
because I literally sat there and they panned over to him, and that's why I hit y'all. And I was like, bro, we took this man to a Super Bowl before him, and he was been there forever.
Yes, he was there at like 32 years old. Yeah.
Yes.
He was there forever.
Yes, that man has been there for a hot minute. And we took him to his first Super Bowl the same year he was the same season.
After the coordinator conundrum you guys had last year.
Yes.
Now you guys got it,
Yes. I'm sorry. I was rolling. I was rolling on that.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah.
No, for real. When you think about it out loud, it's like.
And if in reality, I also would pitch it to anyone that's on the fence. Saquon's universally liked. Get that man a ring on his birthday,
bro.
Get him a ring.
I'm saying, but I'm telling you, the the odds are stacked against
It
us,
is.
and we're fighting the script, we're fighting the NFL guys, we fighting that one ref who's always ref the Chiefs
Yeah.
games. Like it's literally a handicap at this point.
I will say my bold prediction for that game is Saquon is shut down. I don't believe he gets over 50, 60 yards.
Oh, he'll get over 100.
You think so? I think they focus him more than anything. I think they focus in on him. I think he gets shut down.
He gets 100.
I'd like for him to get like 153 touchdowns, just
no.
statement game. But
no, honestly, I think he just gets 100. He'll get over. He'll get
that's
triple
fair.
digits. I don't see this team not being able to get him 100 yards, and I mean Jalen himself is going to open up the offense.
Oh, 100%. Well. The only difference between this team and that team that played them 2 years ago is Saquon. Mm-hmm. It's a big difference. Mm. So I would like to think
no Kells either.
No Kells, yeah.
No, BG might be.
I
back.
saw that. I mean, if that's his last game, there's no way he's not going to at least try.
Didn't because I swore Milano got injured, and then we saw him in the game. He had a brace on his arm.
Yeah.
So
he got hurt.
Yeah, because he got hurt early,
like week 7 or 8, I think, of this past season. Yeah,
he was supposed to be out, and then he came back.
Yeah,
God willing.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're not like a super detriment, like if you're putting BG on the line and he's like 40%, I wouldn't put him out there. Mm-hmm. But he might just suit up just to suit up one more game.
Yeah,
but,
put that Terrell Suggs brace on him.
Oh yeah, wrap that thing.
Put that
JJ Watt too. Yeah.
Put that Navarro Bowman and Pat Willis.
Ooh.
Put that brace on him. He'd be good to go. So outside news, Pete Carroll signed to the Las Vegas Raiders. It took everything in me not to say Oakland.
I know. I still call them San Diego Chargers.
Because I saw Raiders and I almost went Oakland, but the Las Vegas Raiders. Now there's speculation because Pittsburgh is actually looking to not re-sign both their quarterbacks. There's speculation.
Dangerous, yeah.
So now they're thinking, hey, let's get the band back together with Pete and Russ.
Yeah.
You think what's your take
on
it?
I honestly think, well, he wanted to go there last year, and I forgot. I don't know why he wanted to go there. I guess it was like one of the destinations that he had like set up was, I almost said Oakland, Vegas.
Oh, because Devontae Adams. It had to be him at the time.
Yeah, it must have been that. At this point, with the way that the draft class is set up with quarterbacks, mm-hmm. Is it like the worst idea in the world? Mm-hmm. I don't think it is. It doesn't hurt. I mean, best case, you get like a 3rd round quarterback, and then you bring in Russ, and then hopefully see how it goes. Russ still has something to offer, mm-hmm. but clearly he's not like a Super Bowl quarterback anymore.
I would probably do both.
Yeah.
See if they can mentor their draft pick.
Yeah, Russ is a good. I mean, obviously the relationship with Pete Carroll is solid. I wouldn't be surprised if he signed there. It mm-hmm. makes sense. As for the hire itself, I saw most of the people's complaints was that he's old, mm-hmm. but like he doesn't come off like he's like 73.
Oh yeah, he's still moving.
Dude's got fire. I mean, he could probably go till he's 80. I know it's a contract thing for 3 years, mm-hmm. but I could see him in it. I mean,
so my thing is, it's like they're not really going to find anything better at this point. They've experimented with Hall of Fame Antonio Pierce. That didn't work out. Yeah. I think at this point, they really can't be stingy with who they're getting because, I mean, if we all know, let's keep it a buck, they're not going to.
No.
They're not. I mean, everyone in that division made it to the playoffs except them.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And I think, honestly, like you brought up, I mean, they can't be stingy with it. Are you going to bring in like a rookie coach with that division?
Exactly.
And a team that's really just not set up well?
Exactly.
A good, like, culture setter. I mean, mm-hmm. Pete's going to come in there and kind of get rid of that Antonio Pierce, like, relaxation vibe, which ended up not working. Right. But, no, I think it's a good hire. I think worst case scenario, he's in there for 2-3 years. Get to the playoffs one time. I think it's not a bad job. So
right. Agreed.
No, I'm with it.
Agreed. So now the Cowboys selections.
Mm-hmm.
So now they hired. So we spoke about it last week. Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
And now they brought in their defensive coach, Matt Eberflus. And for those who do not know who that gentleman is, that was the gentleman who single-handedly
lost them the game on Thanksgiving Day.
Right. And
you can't tell a clock from anything.
And that brother stunk up Chicago.
Yes.
Single-handedly. No adjustments. Had their defense out here looking like straight bums. And that man
is going to, I mean, from what I've heard, he's a good defensive mind. Some guys just are not good head coaches.
Right.
If he's not in charge of clock management, then it's probably okay. Call the game, Matt. Leave the clock. Don't even look at the clock. Put blinders on him.
That is a good point.
There's good. I mean, like same thing with Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
Horrible head coach.
Oh, but his
offense is always click. He had Mac Jones looking like Tom Brady.
Lord.
I mean, they won 6 Super Bowls with him as the as a coordinator there. So I don't think it's a bad hire for them on that. But I think the Schottenheimer one, and I pulled up his resume. This dude was the offensive coordinator for the Jets in 2006 to 2011,
and that was
the Sanchez,
Rex Ryan.
Maybe not Sanchez yet, but that was the Rex Ryan era. Someone brought this up though. He's been the coordinator at so many different positions, and he's never gotten head coaching offers. But like the Cowboys are like, oh yeah, no, he's a good head coach. Like we can use him. I don't know, like the fact he's gotten passed over really since 2006. Like he's never had, from what I know, any offers to be a head coach. So I'm like, what was his issue? And this offense this year was kind of uninspired. He was their OC, and he didn't do much. So
right.
I think that's why Cowboys fans are mad. It's like the circus started with Deion Sanders. It's like, oh, let's get our name in the news real quick. Let's act like we're interested in Deion Sanders. And then it was like, we might call Kellen Moore back, and that didn't go anywhere.
And then we might draft your son.
And then do all this like circus show BS. So to me, it was just kind of like, feels like a lazy hire. I'm just like, and the way they handled McCarthy, it was like, no, you can't interview for the Chicago job. But then it was like, well, we're not bringing you back anyway. It's typical Jerry Jones, man.
Yeah.
He's really just.
I
don't even know how to describe it. He's holding the team.
I genuinely feel like it's a power trip, and I mentioned it before. In my honest opinion, I don't think he wanted to re-sign any of the guys that he gave contracts to last season. He didn't want to sign CD, and I don't think he wanted to sign Dak.
No.
And now Micah Parsons. I got it mixed up. So I don't think he's gonna want to sign him either because he's on his 5th year.
Yeah, I think he's given too many big contracts away, and like the Dak one, I don't want to claim anything yet, but it already doesn't look good. Dude gets hurt. He was never good enough.
You can't. Well, okay, so that we can't agree.
The injury was a fluke.
Right.
I mean, like the big injuries he's had was this year, and then his ankle.
Yeah, where he was out for the season.
Yeah,
because
of that one was another fluke one. I mean, that wasn't injury.
Yeah, it was a hip tackle.
Yeah, just split it in half. But yeah, it's the only defense I'll give to Jerry Jones, and then I'm done defending him. He was getting pressure on the CD and the Dak one. Like, okay, like you're going to sign your guys, especially with CD. It was
he wasn't about to play.
Yeah, so then he was eventually like, okay, I'll cave in and sign him. But then he does stuff like this where they didn't do anything this offseason either. Same thing as last year.
And I said that because that whole entire offseason they did nothing.
Yeah.
While all their other team, their 2 rivals, bolstered everything. Like Washington literally cleared house.
Washington looked and was looking for the value bargains, and they're like, we'll take Wagner, we'll take Ertz. They were going down the list, and a lot of those dudes worked this year.
Right.
Dallas didn't even try.
No, they did not sign anybody. They let go more people than they brought back in, and then their important people got hurt.
Oh, Eric Kendricks, will take him, and then it's like 2 weeks before training camp. Oh, we'll take Zeke too. What is that going to get you? It's not going to get you far. No,
at all.
And then they cut him before the season ended
and let go of. I know a couple wide receivers they had. They let him go.
Yeah. Gallup went out of there,
and then he ended up retiring, I believe.
Yeah, he went on. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he just didn't vibe with. I think it was Raiders he went to.
Yeah, he went to Raiders.
Yeah,
and he retired.
And then they tried to Brandon Cooks out there. Love him, but like also he's not the same player he was.
Yeah, he was injured most of the season.
Yeah, and then Rico Dowdle was, I'll give them credit. I don't think he signed that past year, maybe the year before, but he did come on at the end of the year as a good back.
I think they drafted him.
Oh, was that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, they drafted him.
Okay. But yeah, it's like, there's just, they just don't make moves. And you would think with like the aura that the Cowboys have of like America's team and all this stuff that they would try more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have the money, I know you do, and they just don't care.
So for me, the casual, I'm watching this. I don't know if this is just in spite of signing people or if it's just one huge power trip.
Yeah.
But all the decisions go through him and he failed to do a single thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, okay, since you didn't want to sign people, is this your way of getting back? Because he also stated throughout the season, well, since I signed these guys, I hope they're okay with getting used to working with less.
Yeah.
And when he made that comment, I'm like, okay, so you're not going to do anything to this team. If you guys fail, it's not going to be on you. It's going to be more so on the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's
it's kind of setting up for that. Yeah.
That's how I interpreted it. But again, I'm just a filthy casual. So.
I mean, I think if Dak was on a different team, I don't think he would get as much hate as he does. Mm-mm. Maybe he would even do better. Maybe it's just the Cowboys black hole that's just sucked him in. But yeah, it's just like, as a Cowboys fan, they have every right to. I'm not saying I feel bad for them, but I would get mad too. I mean, I'd be like, why am I supporting a team that doesn't put effort in? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with like the Red Sox in baseball. It's like, this team is a big market team, and they never pay anyone. Mm-hmm. So like, why am I putting effort into watching all these games or like buying a jersey and stuff like that when you don't want to put effort into making me support them? Right. Doesn't make sense. So exactly. He's gonna be there until the day he passes on, and that's just how it is. But yeah, just going to be a replay every year of they didn't sign anyone. They're going to fire him in probably 2 years. Mm. Is what it is. But yeah,
agreed. Another one that I saw, I was going to address the Eagles. I forgot who made that comment, but basically anybody can win with this team. And Sirianni came out and said that put a bad quarterback or put a good quarterback on a bad team and see how far they would get. And, you know, we heard that situation when we almost went undefeated. Mm-hmm. And I think the one game that we lost, Jalen was not in the game. Yeah. So my response to those comments, everybody they're just projecting. Yeah, that's just how.
And Sirianni, I'll give him his credit. He is correct. It's a proven fact that like these quarterbacks, especially like Josh Allen before Stephon Diggs, Burrow before like Jamar, like they were good, but like if you don't have a team around you, then like Drake May, if you never put anything around him, that team's not going anywhere. He's throwing to like scrubs, and he doesn't have an O line. So like it's true, if you put a good quarterback on a bad team, they're not getting anywhere. Mm. But
I think the only few other questions I have. So I was listening to Fox Sports on YouTube. I'll just listen to everybody else's takes on different situations. Mm. Now, I get it. Rob Parker is probably sometimes not the best person to listen to, but they brought up a good topic that we could talk about. Should the Bills let go of Sean McDermott?
You know, and I don't watch enough Bills games to judge him, but I've heard the universal take that he is holding this team back with either clock management or personnel issues. I don't know if I would get rid of him, but like at some point you have to have like the uncomfortable conversation. Maybe he's not the guy. I don't know. Cause I mean, yes, they keep hitting the Chiefs wall, but like the team has talent. Like it should be getting to the Super Bowl.
So I would say that if we were to have like multiple favorite teams, I would also say I think like over the years when I was playing, and oddly enough, when I play fantasy football, I always pick Josh Allen as my quarterback. Yeah. So that sort of kind of made me like the Bills and, you know, get invested into everybody that was on the team. And for the years that I've watched the Bills, because I watch Philly and I always make sure like see who the Bills are playing because I like watching. Yeah. I like watching the team. To my knowledge, I've never felt like it was more so a coach thing. It was more so from what I saw through my lens, personnel.
Yeah.
I think over the years, they've always dealt with injury.
Hmm.
It was always they never felt like they were one or two play calls away from winning. Overall, it to me it looked like when they needed people on the field, like if they didn't have as many injuries as let's say like a healthy team like Philly,
Yeah.
if they have their starting players from like week 1 to all the way to now.
It would look a lot different. Yeah.
So I never felt like this team was just a coach away, like because you would use the phrase before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never, I never looked at Sean McDermott to be the problem. I'm like, well, if they sort of had a few more people on the field, or if they could stay healthy, I think this team would be successful.
Yeah.
Now, 29 to 32, that states a lot differently.
It does.
Because they had different personnel. They got it done on defense. I don't think this would have been a defensive game that came down to a last
It did. Yeah.
sort of play. Um, you brought up a good point. He's been holding the team back. They let go of their offensive coordinator, and this is a
Dorsey bounced, and then Joe Brady came in, and he's done fine with them.
This is a whole different team. To me, I don't see this as a Sean McDermott issue. Long story short.
Yeah, the one point someone did bring up though was the Ravens Bills game, the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
He did play conservative a little bit in the second half,
mm-hmm.
and the Ravens got right back into it. And it was so much as
and that's when they started running.
Mark Andrews catches the ball. Who knows what happens if it goes to overtime? I know there was some time left for them to come back, Josh Allen. But yeah, it's playing conservative when you're playing a team like Baltimore. Like I think they're more so picking at that. It's just his ideology and schemes that he's running. And even if you don't have the personnel, I mean, some coaches can elevate their team even due to injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You can still make a defense look good. You know, you can still
Lions.
The Lions, exactly. They had like a Pro Bowl roster full of injuries, and like they still made it to where they were at. And eventually, it catches up to you. But yeah, I think as far as like, is he going to get fired this offseason? No, I wouldn't do it if I were them. But it's something you got to keep in the back of your mind. Like if they get next year divisional round bounced, like
I always felt that way with John Harbaugh.
Yeah,
because I sort of felt like at one point, where does he start to be take the blame?
Well, especially even like right now, like, is it Lamar's fault? I mean, he doesn't play well in the playoffs, but this felt like a year for them to get over the hump with Derrick Henry playing out of his mind, and you know the team playing well. The defense was good,
and the decision to start your wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's
I understand it. That no, you make a good point. I always, for some reason, always gave him a pass because when it came down to it, they always got right there.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't really, I overlooked the bad coaching and the bad play, but I'm more so critical on Harbaugh because it's like he has a personnel, he has everything he literally needs. Why does your team have like a mid-season slump?
What's wrong? Yeah.
And then you got to crawl out of the hole towards the end, and then you get a bad seed. And
it's like, I think with the front office thing sometimes it's like, do you fire him?
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to get better if you bring in another coach?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they get kind of comfortable. Like, John Harbaugh's been there for so long. He won the Super Bowl. We talked about, like, kind of riding the Super Bowl wave a little bit. But, like, who are you going to bring in that's going to do a better job than John Harbaugh? Right. Has that knowledge and has that locker room presence. So, right. Yeah, it's conversations to have. But, like, at some point when you start loading up on talent, like, especially with the Ravens this year, Zay Flowers really broke out. You signed Derrick Henry. He had a crazy year. Should have been a year they got over the hump for it, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's those two teams for sure. Definitely have a coaching question mark at least next year.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like they're in the same boat.
Yeah.
And lastly, because we were talking about it,
Duval.
Oh God, actually, we could talk about that real quick. So, I told Miles about it. He's not a big fan of it. I don't think they're gonna do that well. I think I think hiring him put them far worse than where they were with Doug EP.
So here's my thing with him. The press conference tells you a lot about what kind of coach you're going to be.
Correct. That's your first.
Sometimes Sirianni, and I didn't even remember this, but I guess he had a few blunders. He was trying to say something and he kept like stuttering. Or he was like, "We're gonna play like smart football," and then he was like trying to finish his thought, and he was like trying to hit like the word limit on an essay almost, just rambling. Obviously, that was a little bit better than some of these other coaches, but like Adam Gase comes to mind. Some of these dudes that have press conference, you're like, really? The big flag with him was just it was kind of a cringy statement to make. It was just weird.
Yeah, because that's your first impression of him.
Yeah, that's a big tempo.
Yeah, literally.
And I told you last year when they hired Mayo, he didn't give me the impression that he was going to get in there and just kind of like bow up and like let's go. Vrabel did, so I feel better about that.
Got house money.
Yeah, and the only defense I'll give with Cohen was after that they did like a behind the scenes. They were trying to do like a PR like save face thing. But like Trevor Lawrence looked happy to see him. Gabe Davis looked happy. He was talking to Christian Kirk, and then he was like, "Oh, like you know, so and so, such and such." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." He's like, "Oh, that's my boy." Like you know, he told me you're like you know, good dude. Everything. Can't wait to work with you. So they save face with that video, but like he just his demeanor at the press conference. Like I'm like, this dude's gonna go in the locker room when they're like 2-5 and like pick him up. I don't think he's going to.
I'm not gonna lie, brother can motivate me to make a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If he looked at you and was like, "Come on, come on, come on,"
brother couldn't motivate. Bro couldn't motivate me to put the pot. Bro couldn't motivate me to put the fries in the bag.
Oh my god.
Yo, what's good? Oh, you back? Oh, you got a new logo? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, I'm sorry. Bro couldn't motivate me to put fries in a bag. Oh, I like that. I can see the bubble, but yo, that's a nice logo, bro. I like it. Yeah, I'm sorry. He couldn't motivate me to put mail in a box. Sorry.
And I think what makes it so funny is this team needed a motivator.
Yes.
They clearly didn't have with Doug Peterson. They didn't believe in him, and I think it's such an important culture shift to get someone in there that's going to command the locker room. And
bro, I want to feel the strength and the courage oozing off of my fucking TV.
And they called Dan Campbell a cheerleader.
Oh my god!
But that dude would motivate me to run through a brick wall.
I'll run in traffic for that, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Throws his hat down and starts. I mean, like,
come on, man.
I feel it. I feel it through the phone when I'm watching a clip. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it
for real.
I'm not motivated by the voice cracking Duval. Yeah, the head tilt and. And then it comes with, I told you there was bad juju already because it comes with him just blatantly ignoring Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So it already was bad. I told you, I was like, I have a bad feeling because of how that worked out.
No, for real, because he literally said, yeah, I'll be there in Tampa, and then slid
and then,
north.
Guess what he says in the press conference? We're big on honesty. Why would you say that? Say that like midway through the season. I mean,
I know Tampa is laughing at that.
Oh my god, they're probably wiping the sweat off their brow.
Oh, 100%. They're like, if anything, they're probably like, thank God.
Yeah. He's good. We don't need him. You guys can keep him.
Y'all better hope, Miles, if you listening, y'all better hope y'all don't play Tampa.
Oh,
they're gonna put a 50 on y'all just off of being petty.
And I will say too, like he doesn't come off as a bad guy. He seems like he means well. So
his intentions, though.
The
intentions.
Like I said, the Tampa thing kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I do hope, genuinely, that that he does well. I hope they have a decent season. Jacksonville deserves to get out of purgatory.
They're gonna suck,
but they might not be very good. They might not be very good.
I told Miles, I'm like, y'all suck. I'm sorry, y'all are gonna be trash. I had to keep it real with bro because I know he was already punching the air. Bro already taking L's with LA. The Magic are the only saving grace he got, and now they about to sit up here and trade their point guards.
Yeah.
And then the only decent thing, he didn't even bring up Florida, but
might be good next year. Who knows?
Oh man, that is something else. So the two other topics that we'll talk about, that we'll close it out. The Jets. So I know Aaron Glenn came out with his press conference. He addressed, or they were trying to address, the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah.
He kept it cool. He was just like, look, we got a quarterback. We're looking to win now. And how this team is going to be moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real. This team is a question mark.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people have talked about his hire as a question
Hiccup.
mark, a C. They were like C plus. Like it might work, but defensive coordinator, never been a head coach. There's the connection that he played there and he was liked when he played there. Maybe that helps a little bit.
Bro, that was like forever ago.
I know, and I'm like, Jerron Mayo was like when he played there too, and that didn't work. First time defensive head coach.
And that was forever ago.
Yeah. And like Saleh didn't play there, but like first time defensive smart guy head coach didn't work.
Right.
A lot of these don't work. Eberflus, Chicago defensive coordinator, really well liked.
Bro, the rap sheet.
It's the defensive coordinator thing.
It writes itself, and again, I was gonna say these problems are beyond him.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to take on Aaron Rodgers solo.
The fact he even signed the contract and was like, "I'll take this on,"
I would have stayed in Detroit at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, who wants to put up with this man? He doesn't even know if he's gonna return.
And the problem is that we're not gonna know if he wants to return until like June or July.
So my question, if you're the Jets, are you drafting a quarterback?
Yes, but not as high as you would want. Like it's going to be like a third, fourth round thing. Or you, fingers crossed, think that Jordan Travis might be ready, even though he hasn't played a snap in the NFL and his leg got mangled in college. I mean, it's...
See, this is what I'm talking about. So he has to take all this on. Knowing the organization who almost let the kids run it off of Madden ratings alone. Mm-hmm. I don't think this was a good signing for him.
No.
I don't think he's going to fix things.
No.
He's just going to be another scapegoat into what's going on. And to be honest, if I'm the Jets, I'm drafting a quarterback.
I think...
You have to. You are not going to leave your season up to Aaron I sit in the dark Rodgers
and wait around for him again.
No, hell no.
No, because it's like at some point they are literally the laughingstock of the NFL. They haven't won. What was it? Well, it's been 15 years since they've been to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Not even in the playoffs. The Dolphins have been to the playoffs. The Texans have been to the playoffs. The Raiders have been to the playoffs. Literally. They have not been to the playoffs since that little Rex Ryan Miracle on Ice kind of run they had.
They're next door neighbors.
Yeah, exactly.
The Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. I mean, they won 2 Super Bowls in that time frame.
And then they even went back and they were still trash.
Yeah, they went back and
with Danny Dimes
beat the Vikings somehow. I mean, they have a playoff win since then. You gotta wonder. I'm just like,
oh man, I swear this junk is funny.
They are literally dysfunctional.
That's an understatement.
It's an understatement.
That's an understatement.
And the AFC East, too, the last thing I'll say about that is it's like it's in a weird spot. Remember how like 2 years ago we were like, yeah, this is like the division. Like the Patriots are here. The Jets got a good defense. Like they can get over the hump.
Power shift.
Yeah.
I feel it too.
Tyreek's putting up 2,000 yards a season.
I feel
the
it.
Bills. But now the Dolphins, Tyreek wants out.
Yep.
Jets are obviously the Jets. Patriots are going to start moving up. The Bills are still going to be there, but like it's like a 3-way little cluster at the bottom. And I mean, it's really anyone's game. So I don't think this gets them over the hump at all.
Nope.
No.
And speaking of AFC, lastly, Steelers. What are we doing? You drafting?
I think you draft. I mean, we have the question mark with Pickens. I mean, I don't know. What are you going to do with Pickens? You want to keep him? Hopefully he grounds himself. I don't know. I mean,
if they want to remain relevant, they would have to. I mean, if I'm the Steelers right now, I'm getting a running back first and foremost. I would probably get another wide receiver to complement him because we already got a tight end. Then you have to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Or because if you're not going to bring either one of them back, it's more than likely Russ is going to be gone.
I don't see Russ coming back there. I mean, I can see them.
I can see Fields.
I can see them sticking their hand out the Fields and being like, come on. But like, also, is he going to be like, well, I want to start now? And are they going to guarantee him that? I don't think they're going to because you just don't know.
And I sort of think that they just shot themselves in the foot with that one.
They did.
Because, again, I get it at the time because I remember when you explained it, why they brought him in. And then I was just like, okay, that makes sense. But then the quarterback conundrum moving forward, no one really thinks of these issues long term.
Yeah.
So now you got that issue, and
you had the opportunity to figure out if Justin Fields was a competent NFL quarterback on a good team because the Steelers were a good team, and then you were like, well, Russ is older, but maybe he's going to get us over the hump, and he didn't. So I mean, you kind of just finagled the whole thing. They made it to the playoffs, but like, what good? Like, you're going to look back on this season in like 10 years and be like, oh, they were 10-7. Okay, they got wiped by Baltimore. It's a retread.
Yep.
There was like a TikTok about it. It was like, oh, we're the Steelers. We're gonna be 10-7. We're gonna beat the Ravens one time, luckily, and then we're gonna get blown out in the playoffs. We're gonna go through a couple quarterbacks. It's like a legit like cycle since Big Ten.
Literally. And I think that's just why they've fallen as low as they have, because they can't find a quarterback.
Yeah.
They let Ben stay there for over 15 years, and not once. I mean, they brought in quarterbacks, but they weren't really good quarterbacks.
They were running through what?
Mason
Rudolph,
Pickett.
I mean, that was a blunder. Obviously, they just none of them have stuck. And I mean, I know obviously Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator, and he was like the most hated man in Pittsburgh. They got rid of him, and the offense got better, but still, none of these guys were needle movers. So you're still stuck again. It's a retread conversation. And then you got guys like Baker Mayfield that were just kind of out there dwindling.
Could have picked him up.
Sam Darnold.
Could have picked him up. I get it. He was seeing ghosts in the Jets at the time.
And you were scared to do it, but
I mean, Andy Dalton was out there for a minute.
Looking back on it, it's like you could have signed Sam Darnold over Russ, and then you would have had Fields and Sam Darnold, and you would have been like, okay.
Exactly.
There were options they had, and they just haven't made the right options.
Yeah. Literally.
I don't know.
I know Marcus was floating around for a little minute. Maybe could have picked him up. See, I mean, Ryan Tannehill, we had
talked about him, yeah.
I mean, he never officially retired, so he could have, been of some use at the time. He could, because I know maybe I get it. You don't want to sign Flacco, but
yeah, there were options, and they just feel like they just haven't picked the right people.
Jameis Winston at one point. Teddy Bridgewater at one point.
Yeah. And these are not attractive options, but they're like
game managers. Good word. Maybe Cam. Maybe.
Yeah.
When he was, I mean, I get it. Like, who'd you have at the time when he was still playing? They had probably either Rudolph or Pickens.
What was it?
I'm sorry.
Well, 2020 was the Patriots Cam year, and then 21 he went back to the Panthers. So it was like around that. By that time, he was kind of cooked, but it wouldn't have hurt to take a flyer. Because I think they were still trying to trot out Trubisky at that time, which that was not going to work. So,
and then that brother went to Chicago and snuck it up even worse.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's where people go there to die anyway. So.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sorry. Players' careers.
Yeah, not physically, but the career, the career.
Players' careers. Yeah. So, on the poll, it looks like Miami will not trade Jimmy Butler at the deadline.
Maybe they're going to make him suffer.
Probably,
yeah.
I mean, the more they do it, Miami's only hurting themselves.
Correct.
If they only want to stay competitive.
Correct.
I mean, yeah, he's not going to be there. Cool. He actually gets to buy back some time physically, so he can probably put on another 1.5 or 2 seasons if he gets his break on his career. So if 100%. Anything, he's extending longevity, but this is only hurting Miami more. So if they don't move him within the next 2 weeks, or no, when's the deadline? I think next week is the deadline.
I think it is.
So they don't.
So they got, limited time really.
They don't really find a suitor by then that's on them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that is definitely all for the podcast. So next week when we go live, we will be 4 days away from the Super Bowl. Then we'll definitely talk about some basketball, and then we will get closer to the All-Star break, so we'll talk about the reserves. And I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Till then. So we definitely appreciate it. Today was a shorter pod today. Thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, DE, and thank you, Miles, for chilling with us, and thank everybody who stopped in and kicked it with us. So we will be back next week with more in-depth Super Bowl predictions. If we get any news, we'll talk about basketball once we get any further news from anything. And Till then, we appreciate y'all. Appreciate you as well. Oh yeah, go Birds. Yes, sir. Hopefully by next week I can have. Actually, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can get some merch by next week because I know it's already sold out.
Yeah.
The whole it's a Philly thing.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it online one time.
Is it gone now?
This was like the year we went to the Super Bowl. I
Oh, okay.
saw it for 1 week. I
Oh,
did not
damn.
get paid. The next week, I tried to cop it, sold out.
They don't play about that. It was yeah gone.
Sold out. It was you're too slow. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're
you,
sorry.
you should have been quicker. Yeah. So hopefully I can have some merch. I got a shady jersey in the closet. I definitely just want to rock something different. So hopefully I got some by it. Super Bowl champs. Super Bowl what 59 script writers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's
Who knows
the
what they're typing right now?
yes. We'll see how it goes. So till then, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we will catch y'all next week 7 p.m. We're out of here.
See you.